Mallards, it's Monday, and I'm going to do a very special unboxing. This is a package from Weird Works. Look at those adorable skeletons. So this is something I supported on Kickstarter. It is the Adventurer's Tarot deck. And I have looked at it myself previously, but I just wanted the opportunity to show it to you. So you can see this like lovely icon on the front. It says victory and defeat. So you've got victory where like everything is together and defeat where everything is broken. You can see the Adventurer's Tarot, the Empress deck, and some information on the back. I know it's kind of tough to see that stuff there. So yeah, this is what we're looking at. It is a beautiful tarot deck designed specifically for use in a like D&D style campaign. The inside of the box is also very pretty. You can see all of those pretty highlights and everything. So first there is a Divine Your Fate book that is a little bit of a guide to if you wanted to pull this as an actual tarot deck. That's something that I think I'm going to consider doing next month. So as part of my videos, I will do a pull every day because I think that that'll be fun. And so these are designed specifically to be D&D characters, and then you can pull them to do initiative. So there are sets of each. So first we have the Bard, looking very beautiful there. And then, like I said, there are sets of 2 of each. So this is the Ranger. You've got, it's the same design, but it's just slightly different coloring. So those are really, really pretty. The Monk. I also like that they're pretty much all female. You know, as a girl D&D player, I appreciate that. They all have this gold foil, which I know is kind of a challenge to see in this lighting, but they're really, really, really pretty. If we bring this down a little bit more. Wish I could get it to, you know, not reflect so obnoxiously. Next up, we have the Ranger. Kind of like this like dark style here. Oh, sorry, this is the Fighter. I don't know why I said Ranger. The Fighter, but I like this like dark style they've got going there. The Cleric with their lovely power. Clearly a worshiper of the sun god. The Rogue, my favorite, for obvious reasons. I love double talk and thievery. I like these little daggers. I really love her tattoos. I think that they're a nice addition there. The Barbarian, cutting up a snake, being a total bamf, as barbarians do. The Druid. I like the use of her magic and the way that this is colored. And then we have the Wizard. You know, not armored, just holding a wand, walking out there like the squishy little creature that she is. This is why wizards die, okay? Because they go into battle looking like this. Very pretty and very squishy. The Paladin. I like the sort of sword design all the way around her head like that, and her actual sword, and this sort of like fire and ice kind of thing that's going on with the 2 different designs. The Warlock. I like her look. I also really like the chain because a warlock is bound to the person they make a pact with to get their powers, and so that's kind of fun. I like the coloring in both of those. The Sorcerer with her wild magic, also like tiefling energy here, which I'm into. I like the different species that they have played with. And then we've got some of the bad guys. So the bad guys come in larger sets. So this is the Adversary. And there are 6 of the adversaries. So these are the people you're fighting against. They're just these skulls in all different colors. Like a skull, but instead of crossbones, it's cross swords. But I like those. Those are nice. I'm gonna flip these over because I want to keep the adversaries next. Then we've got the Mystic. These are the sort of extra ones because the Kickstarter went very well. So there's some additional characters. So we have the Mystic and the Blood Hunter, which is not a character that I've ever played before, but this is really pretty. I like the art. I like how it reveals her face when the blood goes over it. I think that's really cool. The Artificer, right there with her awesome toolkit, building things. And then you have just the Ally. You know, your basic NPC friend. Very useful, very smart, probably knows way too much for their own good. I like this like dawn and dusk feel to the 2 cards. That's really nice. We have the Companion, which is a jaguar coming in a black jaguar, or you're spotted. Or I guess it could be leopard, depending on how you feel. But I'm going jaguar. I also like, I don't know if you can see the like hands down here where somebody clearly has been taken. And then of course, if you don't have a companion, you might have a familiar. I like that it's the air, land, and sea varieties. So you've got the owl, the cat, and an octopus. Covering all your bases. Then there are a few cards that were like specifically special for this deck. So there's the Wild Oracle, who's reading her cards there, and her background is the same as the back of the cards. This like victory defeat, which I think is really cool. It's neat how that's sort of lined up. And then we have the Designer. This is the artist, a rendering of herself with her little devil horns and dagger. Can tell we would be friends. And then the Dungeon Mistress. As I said, I really love that all of these cards are like female oriented. So it's a Dungeon Mistress instead of a Dungeon Master. And then the Developer. One of the very few male oriented cards is the guy who developed this. I like that he's just a dude with a chalice. And then we get into the monsters. So there are sets of 4 of these. So we have the Beast. Coming in all of these colors. And then next up, we of course have the Dragon. And I like the sort of jewel tones, a red, a black, a red, a white, and a blue/green dragon. Everybody's favorite D&D enemy, the undead. And I like the color scheme of this pastel undead over here. That's kind of fun. Wouldn't be a good campaign if you didn't have to face off against some sort of ooze or trap. I like that it's different hands reaching to help each other out of these ooze too, sometimes matching and sometimes not. And then we have the ever-present and ever-horrifying Aberration. This is just a brainstem and a mouth in some sort of goo. Aberrations are terrifying. Sometimes used for good and sometimes used for evil. We have our plants. I really like this scene. It's mostly mushrooms, but you've got the like skull and skeleton in the center. That's your clear sign that probably nothing is as it seems. But then this, like these plants have faces. It's got little faces. So they are alive. And probably evil, if we're being honest with ourselves here. It seems like evil is the most likely culprit. And then we have the elemental, and they, of course, come in fire, air, water, and earth. I like this mask usage. I think it's really cool. I love that it's the same sort of feel and shape, even though they've changed the elements so drastically. Like, she still has the same hair coming up at the top, which I think is nice. There is the construct. I'm not sure why the construct has 2 cats in the bottom, but I'm into it. It's got this weird, like, almost alien vibe rather than a sort of, I imagine, like, construct's a little more robotic, but this is sort of like a skeletal alien feeling, which I'm not objecting to. I'm just stating a fact. Then we have the Fae. This is one of my favorite cards. It's one of the ones they did art for ahead of time. And the Fae are the seasons. So you have like spring, summer, fall, and winter, which I think is really pretty. And she's just so pretty. Just chilling in her little pool here. Wow, absolutely gorgeous. And then we have the Celestial. You don't want to run into her. Got several color schemes here for that. It's really, really gorgeous. The Humanoid, you know, in case you're just fighting an everyday run-of-the-mill enemy. I like the two-toned look of these. I really like the black and white one. There isn't a lot of black and white. There's a lot of really pretty colors, but there isn't a lot of black and white, so I really appreciate that. And then to oppose the Celestial, you have the Fiend. I love that she's like summoning a person. She's got her hand out and somebody is agreeing to go with her. I mean, as one would. Listen, this girl shows up and you decide not to follow her, that's probably your mistake. And then we have the absolutely... I mean, I have to be honest, he's not the most attractive, or she, this giant, but it's got a very Lord of the Rings feel, as, you know, well, I guess Hobbit, technically, where they're camping out and run into the giant, all of the dwarves. But I like that it's just like a looming figure in the trees. I think that's really cool. And then the final card is the Monstrosity, a very Medusa vibe. I love the use of light and shadow in this card particularly. Like, it's just shining just that bit down on her. She looks completely unconcerned, as well she should. So yeah, so that is the Adventurer's Tarot deck. I really, really am very excited to mess around with that. I also got a bag that I can store the deck in because I'm going to sleeve them, and once they're sleeved, they won't fit in the box anymore. So there's this bag that has the victory and defeat, just like the card backs on it. I supported them on Kickstarter, but I think they will be selling these. So if you look up Weird Works, and I will put a link of theirs in the description, you can check them out, and maybe you want to get a deck of your own. Hope you enjoyed this unboxing and looking at this pretty art. I know that I enjoyed looking at this pretty art. And I will see you guys tomorrow.